Okay, we're learning daily halacha, the laws of Shabbos, Al Terebes Shulchan Aruch, section 305, and halacha 38. It is permitted to entrust one's animal, a non-Jewish shepherd, to a non-Jewish shepherd, even on Shabbos itself. Although the Shabbos place of the animal was established Bein Hashmoshes as the same as, which is the twilight zone, as that of its Jewish owner, 2,000 cubits in every direction of the owner. The fact that the shepherd will take it to pasture outside the Shabbos limit is of no consequence. The rationale is that a person is not commanded with regard to his animal's Shabbos limits, even if the shepherd will take it to pasture 12 mil beyond the town's parameters, which according to some authorities is established as one's Shabbos limits by scriptural law. Nevertheless, going beyond those limits is not considered as performing forbidden labor, but rather as an independent prohibition, and a person is commanded only that his animal will rest from performing labor, not from proceeding beyond its Shabbos limit. When it is mentioned that an animal's Shabbos place is the same as that of its owner, the intent is only that it is forbidden for any Jewish person to take the animal beyond its Shabbos limit by hand. The restriction applies even when the person himself is permitted to go beyond those limits. For example, when he placed Eruv Techumin. Consequently, a situation where a non-Jew leads an animal beyond its Shabbos limit of his own initiative, without the Jew giving him instructions to do so, even though the Jew entrusted the animal to him, this case should be viewed no more stringently than one in which a Jewish owner calls his animal and the animal follows him, which was permitted by our sages. There is an authority who forbids a Jew from entrusting his animal to a non-Jewish shepherd on Shabbos, even if the Jew knows the non-Jewish shepherd he knows that the shepherd is not going to lead the animal beyond 12 mil, rather only beyond 2,000 cubits. It is desirable to give weight to his words and follow his stringency. It says in 145, the Alter Rebbe states that halacha follows the view that grants permission to hand over an article to a non-Jew for him to borrow, even though the Jew knows that the non-Jew will carry the article beyond the Shabbos limits. In his Kunshas Achron to that section, the Alter Rebbe clarifies the difference between the two cases and why he rules stringently here. In both cases, it will be forbidden to instruct the non-Jew to take the article or livestock beyond the Shabbos limits. Leniency is granted there because the non-Jew takes the article beyond the Shabbos limits on his own initiative. The Jew does not say anything that indicates where the non-Jew should take it. Yeah. In contrast, when one employs a non-Jew as the shepherd of his animals, telling the non-Jewish shepherd to pasture the animals, knowing the shepherd will do so beyond the Shabbos limits, is considered the same as giving his shepherd an implicit instruction to take the animals beyond those limits. So, in a place where it is customary to be stringent and refrain from entrusting an animal to a non-Jewish shepherd, even on Friday, that custom should not be relaxed if it was enacted as a safeguard in order to make a fence around the Shabbos prohibition. If, however, the custom was adopted in error, the people thought that doing so is prohibited. It should be relaxed in the presence of the inhabitants of the locale, and they are to be informed that doing so is entirely permitted. Even when the non-Jewish shepherd will lead the animal from the Jew's house on Shabbos itself, its Shabbos place was not established as in the Jew's domain, since the animal was entrusted to the non-Jew on Friday, as will be explained in section 397. Although its Shabbos place was established according to the place of the non-Jewish shepherd, nevertheless, in essence, there is no halachic conception that the possessions of a non-Jew have a Shabbos place. It is only that our sages decreed that a Jew's possessions in the domain of non-Jewish owners should be considered to have a Shabbos place there, so that it will be conscious of Shabbos, place of the Jew's possession. It will be explained in section 401. One should not be one should not be so stringent as to decree against allowing a non-Jew to take an animal beyond its Shabbos limits on his own initiative, even if the Jewish owner entrusts the animal to him, since many authorities permit this under all circumstances. So bottom line, he says it's permitted when it comes to a shepherd.